Shalom to you from oneforisrael.org. Have you ever had the experience that someone you deeply love and care about forgot about you? Maybe they forgot an important event or simply got used to what you do for them and take you for granted. It is a very bad feeling, like you are not important to the other person, and it is especially painful because you have repeatedly shown them that you do care about them. Unfortunately, it is a human tendency to take someone precious for granted when we are comfortable, and that is one of the main themes of our weekly portion. And this week we're looking at the Torah portion from Deuteronomy chapters 7 to 11 called Ekev, Hebrew for as a result. The nation of Israel is standing on the verge of the promised land after 40 years of traveling in the wilderness and is about to enter. Over those years, the Israelites enjoyed and got used to God's supernatural protection and provision. As an example, for 40 years, consider that they've been feeding daily with manna from heaven, and for the whole camp, that meant 40 tons of manna a day, and 80 tons on Fridays. And as this is about to change from supernatural care by God in the wilderness to natural care by working the land, God pleads with them and with us not to forget. It is a calling for maturity. Let's read chapter 8, verses 7 to 10. For the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and springs, flowing out in the valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey, a land in which you will eat bread without scarcity, in which you will lack nothing, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you can dig copper. And you shall eat and be full, and you shall bless the Lord your God for the good land He has given you. Change is scary. Anytime we need to move to more maturity and assume responsibility for more aspects of our lives, we may feel timid. And that is why God is encouraging the Israelites and us here. The land before you is a good land, and although it may not be easy, it is a blessing from God. Take a step of faith. But there is a risk. And let's look at 8 verses 11 to 14. Take care lest you forget the Lord your God by not keeping His commandments and His rules and His statutes, which I command you today. Lest, when you have eaten and are full and have built good houses and live in them, and when your herds and flocks multiply, and your silver and gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied, then your heart be lifted up, and you forget the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. God chose Israel as His chosen nation. And as followers of Messiah from every nation, God has chosen us as well. Like the Israelites, God warns us from our heart's tendency for pride and forgetfulness. Each one of us is at risk of growing so comfortable that God and His kingdom become secondary to our comfort. Remember how when we first walked with the Messiah, nothing else mattered, and we were full of His love and zeal. But as life happens, we settle down, we get comfortable, the supernatural provisions become natural, and we take the blessings of God for granted and relate to it as the fruit of our efforts. The New Testament calls this forgetting our first love. And we will close this week by reading from chapter 10 and verses 12 to 14. Now Israel, what does the Lord your God require of you? But to fear the Lord, that is reverence, to walk in all His ways, this is daily, to love Him, God is interested in our hearts, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the commandments and statutes of the Lord, which I am commanding you today for your good. Behold, to the Lord your God belongs heaven and the heaven of heavens, the earth with all that is in it. The God of the universe is interested in our hearts, and He gave us boundaries for our own lives, for our own good. Let us search our hearts today and restore His first love in our hearts. Please join us next week for another installment of 5 Alive. Wishing you God's Shalom from One for Israel. And don't forget to share. Our ministry, One for Israel, is an initiative of native-born Israelis on the forefront of media and high-tech evangelism, boldly proclaiming salvation to Israel. Raising up leaders and equipping them with the tools they need to transform our communities. We also provide humanitarian aid to Holocaust survivors with the love of Yeshua. Join us as we share the gospel in Israel. Become One for Israel.